Let's hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Monday. You are listening to your boy, the Mad Hatter, and I am very happy to announce that we got a new team member. Welcome to the team, Ms. Charlie Allner. What's going on?
Oh gosh, not much. Just another Monday morning, recovering from a long weekend, a very fun weekend. So, just trying to get my bearings here still. It's gloomy over here in Indianapolis, so.
Oh, definitely.
Trying to get the energy up inside.
Me too, man. I got so much Christmas shopping still to do. I'm kind of freaking out, Charlie. I'll be honest with you.
Christmas shopping to me, I just make it simple on myself. Cyber Monday is when I get it all done. That's when all the sales are. You can go online. You don't have to even walk inside a store. So I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to worry about now.
Good for you. I got to go to the Louis Vuitton store for my bride, and I'm not too happy about that, I'll tell you, because you know what? There's going to be like a line out the door. They only let like 2 people in the store at once. So it's
they do. They have a quota. Yeah, or not like a quota, but like a cap has like as many people that can be in the store at one time.
I know, it's crazy. So, last year I sat in there for about 45 minutes, so I'm not looking forward
to
that. I'm going to have to try to get out there maybe Christmas Eve morning, I'm not going to do the guys, what we're going to do is we're going to do the show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We will not be on the air because I got to finish my Christmas shopping for my bride, so it's all good. So, Charlie, how was your weekend? What'd you end up doing this weekend?
The weekend was good. I did a lot this weekend, a lot of sports-related stuff. Here in Indianapolis on Saturday was the Crossroads Classic, which is a little mini showcase of the Indiana teams that goes on every year. Yep. They do count towards their season records. So the first game was Indiana versus Notre Dame.
Okay.
Second game was Purdue versus Butler. And both really exciting games. Indiana pulled off a win over Notre Dame, which nobody expected because the Hoosiers were playing so poorly the whole game, and then somehow everything just turned around at the end. Notre Dame couldn't make a shot. IU was nailing everything. They came out on top. I was very happy. My dad was really happy too, so
nice.
That was cool.
Nice. Good for you. Well, I went to the bar yesterday with the Dream and sat there for about 7 hours and drank way too much beer, and I'm kind of feeling it today, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was at the Colts game yesterday, and I had a few beers myself. You needed a lot of alcohol to get through that game, believe me.
Oh, brutal. I know. And it's Monday, and we're going to be doing Monday Morning Quarterback, guys. I'm very excited to have a female joining the team now, especially one like you that knows how to talk about sports. Pretty excited about that.
Us females, we're just the smarter of the two sexes also. So, it's good. You finally have some credibility on the show.
Oh, definitely.
I'm just kidding.
So, speaking of females, there was a little contest last night with Steve Harvey made a little bit of a mistake. What happened there?
So, it was the Miss Universe pageant.
Yeah.
And Steve Harvey, the MC, we all know Steve Harvey, great guy, real personable. He got so into it, All right, here we go. He's got the card with the winner's name on it, and he says, this year's Miss Universe is, there's that long pregnant pause where everyone's just on the edge of their seats like, well, who is it? And he says, Colombia! And everyone goes crazy. Colombia actually won last year, too, so it would have been 2 years in a row for that country. And, she just starts tearing up, and it was, it's an emotional thing, and these women put so much of their energy into this, and then he's, nothing happens, and he's like, oh, wait, folks, I actually made it a mistake. The winner is Philippines. It was like, what? How do you do that? So, this woman is just like, going from tears of happiness to like tears of total embarrassment and sadness. They had to take the crown off her and everything.
Oh, wow. What do you think happened? Did he have the wrong information in his hand, or was it just him?
I think he just read the card wrong because it said second runner-up, and then there was also the first runner-up.
Oh.
Second runner-up was the U.S., by the way. But and then at the bottom of the card, it said the winner. And I think he just looked at first runner-up because there was the two names. And Gosh, I don't know, but he put out an apology on Twitter, and I'm sure he will not hear the end of it for a very long time.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, there's already memes circulating throughout the internet and all that stuff. And hey, it is what it is. Sometimes people make mistakes like that. I went to a bodybuilding competition. The Dream's bride was actually in one, and they did the same exact thing to a woman. They picked the one girl, put the medal around her, and then had to take it off. And I'm like, oh, that's brutal. I can only imagine something on a national stage like that. Crazy.
Well, it's kind of like at the grocery store, when they give you the wrong price for an item, like it rings up incorrectly, they have to still give you the item for that price. That's how I would be like, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
The crown's already on my head. Your mistake. I won.
Definitely. Guys, we're live right now on Twitter at SBTV Nation and also live streaming on YouTube throughout 196 countries around the globe. Charlie, we did it. We've touched every single country.
Wow, every country.
Every country, 196
That's
strong.
incredible.
Yeah, it was 194, and we found 196 last week. I was like, yes. Finally, took us about a year and a half, but we did it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to especially be a part of this now. We're, global.
Oh, you're on the ground floor.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Started,
this is awesome.
So I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm pretty excited to jump right into Monday Morning Quarterback with you to have a conversation about a lot of different things, and I'm happy at the fact I was going to kind of kid around with you guys and say the Dream got fired and I brought in a new co-host, but since he won so much, you would have never believed me because all of us absolutely tore it up all weekend long, Charlie. I mean, between Carolina, between Green Bay, between the New England Patriots, between the Seattle Seahawks, between the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, it was just nonstop over and over and over again. So pretty excited about the SBTV Nation out there cashing and making Santa Claus come early for everybody.
Absolutely. That is always good stuff.
All right. Sounds good, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right into these games and have a conversation about the relative games. I'm not going to really break down the nasty ones because they don't really matter too much because most of these teams are eliminated from the playoffs. But Charlie, our boy, Killer Cam, 14-0.
14-0, only the fourth team in NFL history to do such. And every single one of the past teams who have gone 14-0 have gone on to the Super Bowl.
All right. And
so they're trending in the right direction over there in Carolina.
The only team to win it, though, is the 72 Dolphins.
Correct.
So I don't know if they're going to be popping that champagne this year. We'll obviously see. I mean, it is, I always say it is Super Bowl 50, and that's a milestone. So what other better way to have than a 19-0 team go out and emerge and be victorious in that particular Super Bowl? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the Panthers have as good of a shot as anybody to win the thing. I think the key for them is just going to be not to take their foot off the gas. They've got to play every minute of that game. We saw last night, they did let up in that second half, and they almost lost the game for themselves. I think they blew, a 28-point lead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unacceptable. You want to be a great team, you've got to be great for every minute. You can't let go of, those leads like that and allow a team like the Giants to get back in there right with you.
Well, luckily for the Carolina Panthers that the Giants are the number 32 defense in all the league. So it was pretty easy for Killer Cam to kind of like just, I don't know if you saw him on the sideline, just kind of nod his head and say, I got this. Then he went out there and just, did his thing and went right down the field, and they kicked the field goal. And you know what? He's definitely, in my opinion, MVP this year.
Yeah, well, he's such a clutch player. Like you said, he's able to lead that game-winning drive, which resulted in a field goal and, gave them the go-ahead points. I mean, that's what, makes a leader. Even in those real tough situations, you can still, manage to get everybody together and rally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Carolina right now, we're going to go through the playoff race in a little bit, guys, as soon as we finish up with these games. But, he wasn't so much of the topic of conversation yesterday. We also had ODB, that's Odell Beckham, going ham, like WWE style out there, going crazy, fighting everybody. 3 personal fouls against him.
Yeah, and I mean, the real beef, I think, was between him and Josh Norman, the cornerback for the Panthers. I mean, they just, it got personal out there. And I don't know what, spawned it all. I don't know why that started, but, you even saw Odell Beckham Jr. just doing petty stuff, like when he got that touchdown and he stepped over Norman in the end zone, just like stuff that was like, come on, dude. I mean, how old are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Shouldn't be happening.
You know what's crazy is that I didn't even see Uncle Tom talk to him. at all throughout the game, like kind of calm him down or pull him out for a drive or something like that. He just kind of let him have his way with everybody out there. It cost him 45 yards acting stupid like that.
Yeah, I don't understand why there wasn't a discussion, player to coach, or even, even a lot of those calls were missed by the refs. It's just not setting a very good standard, especially when we've seen, the league crack down in so many other areas. It's like this would have been a time to be like, hey, chill out, or you're going to get thrown out. And that wasn't even, I'm surprised that, both players, were cool. So
yeah, even a hit to the head. I mean, he did a helmet to somebody.
Yeah, and that could have done some damage to, personal, like to himself. Like he could have hurt himself.
I know, very dumb. But hey, Carolina Panthers emerge, and now they are 14-0, and they got 2 games left. You've got, I believe they have Tampa Bay and the Falcons. Correct. Now, Let me ask you a question. You're 14-0. If you're Rivera, do you sit the players or do you let them keep playing and go undefeated?
Well, I think that's, a big question, and it's something that he's going to have to really think about. I mean, I think on one hand, resting players is always a good idea. This is the time of year when those injuries start piling up, but sure. Like, we already saw when the Panthers take their foot off the gas, you never know what's going to happen. So it's like, does he let them just keep on this path where they go into the playoffs with all that momentum? Because that's important too. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's maybe you talk to the guys and see how they're feeling. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to talk to Cam. You know what he's going to tell you, right?
Oh, he wants to play.
Coach, get my ass
He's not
in the
going
game.
Anywhere.
Definitely not. So I'd love to see it. I actually have a prop on them to go 19-0 this year. It pays plus 950. So pretty excited about that, guys. In case you don't know what plus 950 is, if you're new to the show or new to gambling, basically for every $100 you put up, you win 950. So pretty excited about that, and hopefully they can get the job done for me. Moving on to the next one here, we've got, let me just take a look, as Charlie, the Colts. I'm so upset about them. I can't believe they dropped the lead, gave up 10 points in the fourth quarter to the Texans, could not move the ball after that, and Whedon comes back, stands in for TJ Yates, who was out, who exited the game with an injury, and boom, leads them to victory.
Well, and this is the first, the Texans after yesterday are 1-13 all time in Indianapolis. That was their first win in Indianapolis. And, it's crazy that Brandon Whedon was the guy to do that. You know what I mean?
I know. Brutal.
But the Colts, you know what? We've seen them just kind of fall apart more and more as each and every game goes by. And you could see even from the beginning of that game that Matt Hasselbeck's rib injury was giving him some problems. I mean, even when he was warming up, you could see him grab his side and he was wincing in pain. I mean, it was not a recipe for success, from the first play on out for the Colts. So, they knew they were gonna have some tough aspects of the game to worry about, especially, the Texans defense. And,
right.
Unfortunately, the Texans offense also proved to be a little bit stronger yesterday too. And this will be the first time that the Colts don't go to the postseason in the Chuck Pagano era, if that does end up being the case.
I hope they could figure out a way to emerge here, because they got to go to the Miami Dolphins next, and they got the Tennessee Titans at home. I'm hoping that we could see a little bit of Andrew Luck. I know he's out there making commercials and doing a whole package out there, but we'd like to see him come back. I mean, the lacerated kidney is a big deal. Definitely
the thing they say with organ injuries is, for example, you have a sore shoulder. You know what? You can kind of use your best judgment with that kind of stuff. Like, okay, it hurts, but I can still play. With an organ injury, there is no question it needs to be 100% healed,
right.
Or else you run the risk of doing some serious long-term damage. So.
I know. So and then what I've been talking about on the show as well is that, when you're in those situations where your heart's beating 100 miles an hour, blood flows through your kidney. So that's where the big problem is for him. So, hey, hopefully he can come back and make it work, and we'll go from there. My man Marlon wants to know, does the new host also bet on sports?
Do I bet on sports? You know what? I actually don't. I've probably done my couple, $5 bets, in my day. But no, my dad is more into it, and sometimes, if he's feeling, friendly, he'll split his earnings with me. But
nice.
That wasn't the case this weekend. Darn it.
Well,
but no, I do not bet on sports.
Well, when we take you out to Las Vegas, then we'll have you put some plays in. How about that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, because I'm sure you'll probably do pretty well out there overall, based on your knowledge and all that. So
and I'm just good luck. I mean, I've had several people in the past tell me that I'm good luck.
Oh.
So.
All right. Well, hey, perfect time to get you on the show then.
Yeah.
Bringing luck to the biggest show in the world with all of the nation. Loving it. All right, man. Moving forward to the next game here. Let me just take a look as far as games of note. New England Patriots did their thing. Won by 17 points, covered the spread, and Tom Brady, they were kind of playing with us a little bit, saying he was going to be questionable for the game with an illness. Well, he did not look like he had an illness yesterday. That's for sure.
Well, that's Tom Brady for you, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what's going on, whether it's, like a physical ailment, something personal, who knows? Tom Brady just always comes out ready to play. I mean, he's just that type of guy. So I don't even doubt him. It's, he would have to have his leg cut off to, not be able to play a game, up to the way he does.
Absolutely. And, they're going to be probably at full strength come playoff time, and they've already secured a first-round bye.
Yeah, so, and I hope that they're healthy, because they did have 3 injuries yesterday where they had to have 3 of their players, taken out of the game. So hopefully those guys can all come back. Amendola was one of them. So Dante Hightower, their linebacker, another, and also Patrick Chung, their safety.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So.
Looking at another one here as far as the AFC East is concerned, and this team is just kind of spiraling out of control, and I don't know what Rex is doing over there, but the Buffalo Bills go down in flames versus the Washington Redskins, who are 7-7 and sitting in the driver's seat right now as far as the NFC East is concerned.
I don't necessarily think it's anything the Bills did wrong per se. I think the Redskins are just on fire right now. I mean, who is Kirk Cousins? Where did this guy come from? It's crazy.
We always make fun of kissing Cousins, but he did pretty well. He did 319 yards, 4 touchdowns yesterday. Not bad.
Yeah, no interceptions either. So,
wow.
And that is a career high for him, 4 touchdown passes. So, that's some good stuff, and they can, secure their playoff spot if they win next week in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Thursday night game.
Yeah, that'll be big. Prime
time. Is that
time.
Thursday? Thursday's Christmas Eve. I
Yes,
gotta take a look at it. Wow, interesting. My man Fred Courier's on Twitter right now, along with a bunch of different people out there retweeting the show, and we very much appreciate it, including the Dream is on here retweeting us as well. Maybe he's
good morning to the Dream.
Maybe he's taking a little break from the crystal ball that we had this weekend, man. All right, so looking over here, see what else we got. The Kansas City Chiefs continue to beat some teams down and win by 20. They win 34-14 over the hapless Baltimore Ravens. That was one of the Dream superstar plays yesterday as well. And Andy Reid kind of doing his thing out there, Charlie.
Yeah, well, I keep hearing this stat all over SportsCenter and just all over the internet. The Chiefs now have become the first team in NFL history to lose 5 consecutive games and then come back and win 8 straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And
they really did turn things around.
And they are a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. Well, I love the Chiefs. I lived in Kansas City for a couple years, so I grew to love that team, and also just the culture surrounding that team. They've got some good fans out there in Kansas City. All
right. So I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as far as the AFC is concerned. I mean, both wild card teams right now, them and Pittsburgh are really,
oh yeah, those are tough teams too. I mean, especially in my opinion, especially Pittsburgh. No one wants to see Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and the team that does, they're going to have their work cut out for them.
No, definitely not. Well, speaking of Pittsburgh,
they
were down 27-10, I believe, in that particular game. Come fighting all the way back, and for the second straight game, the Denver Broncos can't score in the second half. Yeah. After they were moving the ball up and down the field. I mean, it was like, I thought for sure that they were going to win the game, but, we kept hope alive. And sure enough, the Pittsburgh Steelers end up getting the job done and cover the spread and win by 7 points, 34-27. Big Ben, 380 yards with 3 touchdowns. Wow.
Well, that Ben Roethlisberger Antonio Brown combo is just on fire right now. I mean, that's it's hard to defend that. Even with the league's best defense, I mean, they couldn't stop them. So that goes to show that if the Broncos can't stop that duo, then there's a good chance a lot of other people won't be able to either.
Broncos #1 defense in all of the NFL. And we talked about it yesterday. We said, you know what? They could keep them in check for a little while. But when your defense is on the field way too long, eventually you get wore out. And
absolutely.
We made the comparison with them with the Alabama Crimson Tide in college football, where they have a strong defense and a very potent running offense. And eventually the defense just wears down, and by the third and fourth quarter, that's where they shine. So
and that's third straight game, where they've been shut out. Third week in a row, Broncos have been shut out in the second half. So
wow,
it just continues to be the case there for them. So hopefully they can get their legs under them, soon enough for the playoffs.
We shall see. We shall see. And looking at this team, 12-2, the Arizona Cardinals, Sunday Night Football laid the smack down on the Philadelphia Eagles and Chip Kelly. I don't even know what's going on over there. It's just kind of crazy. Sam Bradford had 361 yards with 2 touchdowns, but throwing the ball to the other team, it's not going to get it done.
I have 2 words when it comes to that game last night.
What's that?
David Johnson.
Crazy,
David Johnson.
Right?
He is ridiculous.
Oh, that one run on the right side when
no one could take him down. He was gone.
I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm watching the game. I'm watching it with my kid at late night, and I see he's like in a pile, just lost. Then all of a sudden he just pops out. Everybody just kind of, Philadelphia just decided to stop tackling, and then he goes, and all of a sudden he's gone. I'm like, whoa, definitely one of the top runs of the year.
Well, you know what? It's just funny because Bruce Arians too. He's one of those coaches where he traditionally doesn't like to play rookies, at least as much as he's been playing David Johnson. But Johnson doesn't even look like a rookie. I mean, he looks like someone who's been on the field for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
He's doing things, and in the patience that he displays too. When he's able to wait for those blocks. Before rushing forward. I mean, he just displays some of those characteristics that you don't see out of such young players.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the hardest things. I don't know if I didn't tell you this yet, but I used to coach youth football. And that is the hardest thing in the world to teach a running back, is to be patient and let your blocks develop in front of you.
Yeah.
It's so hard because you got the ball, you just want to score.
Absolutely. You have all that adrenaline pumping through.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get into the end zone for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So let me just see what else happened yesterday as far as notable matchups. The Green Bay Packers did their thing, and now they are in the playoffs, and they beat the Oakland Raiders 30-20. I said it yesterday on the show. I said Aaron Rodgers would have a field day with that secondary because the Oakland secondary is bad.
Yeah.
Bad. And sure enough, and they ended up getting a running game going yesterday. So, big ups to them for scoring 30 points in Oakland, and now they're in the driver's seat as far as the division and the playoffs. Yeah,
I think so, and I think, depending, how the rest of the season plays out, they could come out on top in the AFC, in the NFC potentially, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you still got, let's see, obviously Carolina's got 0 losses, and you got the Arizona Cardinals that have 2. They have 4. So, there's only 2 games left. It's going to be really tough. They're going to need Arizona to drop a couple of games, and I don't know what the tiebreaker situation is between those particular teams, but we'll have to.
I don't either, honestly.
We'll have to look at it as it materializes, and we will go from there. One other game on a ticket here is the Seattle Seahawks with the 12th man.
Yep.
Win by 17 and cover the spread, and the Dream is infatuated with this Seattle team. I am not. I know they've been playing really well, just like Pittsburgh and, Carolina and stuff like that, but, I did. As little points as they scored, the Cleveland Browns, I did see them move the ball up and down the field a little bit.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. You say you're not impressed with the Seahawks. I am impressed with the Seahawks right now. I think they're playing their best football of the season. I think Russell Wilson especially is playing his best ball of the season. And, now that he has that new friend in Doug Baldwin.
Yes.
I mean, that was a combination we weren't seeing earlier on in the season. All of a sudden, Russell Wilson, let's see, I saw I think in the past 5 games, he's had 19 touchdown passes.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, 19 touchdown passes, no interceptions. I think it said him and Cam Newton have combined. That duo is the highest performing duo in NFL history. Like, you put their numbers together. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You know,
so I gotta say I am impressed with the
yeah,
Seahawks right now.
I gotta become a believer of them. I mean, what would be funny to me, you know, for so I could break the chops of the dream, would be for them to go into Washington week 1 and Kissing Cousins beat them. I would love that.
Oh man,
Redskins shock the world. Let's see what ends up going down with that. They'll probably be like a 7-point underdog at home the first round of the playoffs. That's kind of what I'm looking at as far as that is concerned. And any other games here that are of note? Minnesota Vikings. You know, this was the play that the Dream talked about and Dan talked about. And actually, Dan was on the opposite side of the Dream yesterday. But I was looking at this particular game, and Minnesota Vikings laid the smackdown on the Bears. They did really well there. So it looks like, I mean, between them and Seattle, you know, it looks like the NFC playoff picture is kind of shaping itself up.
Yeah, well, I think if the Vikings, you know, they kind of the way they performed yesterday, they're definitely, you know, I think a team that can go far in the playoffs if they continue to play the way they did yesterday. However, we've seen them kind of, I mean, they just haven't been very consistent. Right. You know, in these past stretch of games. So, you know, I do see them going, you know, and eventually securing a spot in the postseason, but I don't know how far they'll make it.
All right. Somebody's telling me on Twitter here, Odell Beckham Jr., a possible 1-game suspension.
Oh, wow.
Wow. We'll see what ends up going down with that. I don't know where you got that information from, SD Grind, but if you could send me the article, I'd greatly appreciate it. And he's out there retweeting the show for us as well. Looking very much forward to it. So, Charlie, breaking down the NFL playoffs, here's what we got right now as far as the AFC. We're taking a look at it here. Let me just pull it up. You got New England being the number 1 seed who has clinched a first-round bye. You got the Cincinnati Bengals as the number 2 seed. That's definitely in the playoffs. These two teams are in the playoffs. Denver, number 3. Houston, number 4, being the Kings of the South right now. Kansas City and Pittsburgh jumps the New York Jets.
Yeah, I did see that.
Which one of these teams do you think can be spoiler in the playoffs?
Oh, let's see. I don't know. I think the Steelers look really good right now.
Yeah, really good. Nobody wants to
play them. I think they look really good.
Yep. I mean, you've got a couple of AFC and NFC wildcard teams that are definitely have the potential to beat anybody.
Well, I think the same case goes with the Seahawks. I think they're a matchup that no one wants to see in the playoffs. You know, you're one of those top teams. You end up meeting the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks very easily could come out on top. So, you know, Seahawks and the Steelers. Those are my 2 teams that I think, you know, could do some damage. Maybe they're not expected to.
My boy Cincinnati Maverick is saying that he thinks those 2 teams are going to meet in the Super Bowl. Moving over to the NFC playoffs, you got the Carolina Panthers, who are number 1, obviously 14-0, best record in football, overall number 1 seed right now. Arizona Cardinals, with that win last night, sealed the division. They are number 2. The Green Bay Packers and Seattle have secured playoff berths. Then you got the Washington Redskins emerging in the NFC East. Got a couple of big games coming up. One versus Philadelphia, as you alluded to earlier. And you got the Minnesota Vikings, who are number 6 right now.
Yeah.
So you think the Seattle Seahawks are the problem, huh?
Well, I think the Seahawks are a problem that maybe they weren't looked at as being previously. But I don't know, the NFC is tough. I mean, I think the Cardinals... Oh, I don't know. I kind of want to go with the Cardinals right now as far as, you know, winning out. But I don't know. The Panthers, they look good too. I think they've got something special with this group of guys. And I think that they could easily, and like we said, history, you know, history shows every team in the past that has gone 14-0 has gone on to win the Super Bowl. So if history is any indication, then we should expect to see Cam Newton in Super Bowl 50.
Oh, that's music to my ears. I hope that happens. Right now, if they get one more win next week, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Charlotte.
Yeah.
So we'll see what goes down with that. I mean, their offense is number 3 in all the league. Cam Newton is playing at an all-time level. I mean, we talked about it earlier on the show. You know, with Stewart back in the lineup, hopefully next week, I'm just hoping that they try to do that undefeated thing. That would be great. That'd be absolutely great.
I have a feeling that is what they're going to do. I mean, I just think would be something fantastic for their franchise and would give them so much, you know, belief and hope going into the postseason. So I kind of think that is what they're going to do. But, you know, you don't know. So all up to Ron.
That's it. All right, so we have a little game tonight, Charlie.
Yes.
We got a little game tonight. It's kind of a nasty affair, I'll be honest with you, but you're looking at the...
this is your NFL playoff picture on the road to Levi's
second.
Stadium, presented by Levi's. I'm
All
Taryn
right.
Schaefer.
Just pulling at that. I love when I get like little pop-up videos and stuff like that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just drives me crazy. I hate it. But anyway, it is what it is. So moving over to the game here that we got on tonight, we got the Detroit Lions, who are 4-9, going into the New Orleans Saints, who are 5-8. And New Orleans Saints are -3 points with an under-over of 51.5 points. New Orleans Saints being favored tonight. I don't know if I agree with that.
I think it depends how effective Calvin Johnson is. I think if he's,
A little pop-up
on the top of his game, I think that the Lions, could come out on top. But I don't know. The last time he didn't get much action, and look what happened.
I know, exactly. So I'm just pulling up the injury report right now to see what we got going on as far as these two teams are concerned. I don't really know who is banged up as far as New Orleans. I'm pulling it up right now. I did look at a bunch of the other injuries. New Orleans right now, I don't see anything. I don't see anything that's apparent as far as this game is concerned. And when I pull up the Detroit Lions, you've got Eric Aubrin, their tight end, is questionable tonight with an illness. Lance Moore is probable. He's got the little ankle injury, but he'll be out there. But you've got Calvin Johnson. Megatron is questionable with an ankle injury. The problem is with Calvin Johnson is that no matter how he is, he wants to be out there, whether he's going to be a decoy or not. I'm looking at this particular game. I think that, I hate to say this, but I'm kind of leaning New Orleans.
I think New Orleans probably just has a little more chemistry. I mean, at least that they exhibit on the field. Their secondary is pretty torn up, but I think offensively they have a little more going for them. So I'd probably be inclined to say the same. Although, to be honest, these are two teams I've stopped following for the most part, being that they're in the cellar of the NFL,
right.
and there's a lot more other exciting teams to be following at this point in time.
I totally agree with you on that. When I look at New Orleans, though, surprisingly, I mean, with Drew Brees, number 3 in all of the NFL as far as offense is concerned.
Yeah.
395 yards per game, where Detroit is all the way. With all the weapons that Detroit has, it's pretty sad that they're number 23 in all the league.
Well, I think a lot of times, you got to rely on your quarterback, to lead the team. And Drew Brees is just one of those, he's future Hall of Fame player. I mean, he's just continually proved that, he can bring his team out of some messy situations, regardless of what the obstacles might be. So,
Sure.
I put a lot of faith in him.
One thing we got to look at is the New Orleans Saints defense. Like you alluded to earlier, they're really bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Oh,
Yeah,
number
bad.
30, number 31 in all of football. I'm looking at them right now. I mean, they're giving up a lot of rush yards, a lot of pass yards. Wow. Inside the dome, obviously both of these teams play in domes, so we don't have to worry about the dome teams playing on grass teams playing on turf, so on and so forth. So
Right.
I think I'm leaning New Orleans. I think they get the job done. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, though.
I think so too, and I still say, depending on how involved Calvin Johnson can get, that will also dictate a lot of what happens in tonight's game.
Absolutely. So, small lean guys, as far as I'm concerned, the New Orleans Saints to get the job done. I like them plus 3.5, though. If I can manipulate that line and get them plus 3.5 at home, I think they'll get the job done. I think they'll win the game outright, but to be safe, I think a teaser situation and getting them plus 3.5 points and moving that line in my favor would be the best situation in that particular affair. That's what I'm looking at. So I know that I'm probably, a lot of people are probably disagreeing with me on that, but hey, that's just my opinion, guys. Do whatever the hell you want. I'm not a sports handicapper. I'm just a gambler telling you what I'm feeling. So that's pretty much it. Anything else to add with the Monday Night Football game before we go into the NBA?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think so. We went over the injuries. We went over the point spread. We went over the whole package there. So, and both of these teams are eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, no shot. This game is just for moral victories.
That really sucks for the people that put these games together, huh? Like they've like showcased Baltimore a lot, showcase like New Orleans. All these teams were built to be so dope, and then all of a sudden they're not so good. So
Exactly.
we see that year in and year out a lot. So
Well, I think the Colts, they had, 4 primetime games this season, and they all were just, pretty pitiful. But, the Colts were one of those teams that people expected to be in the Super Bowl. Now, it looks like they're going to lose their division for the first time in, gosh, I don't even know how many years. A long time.
I hate hearing that. Hate it. But whatever. It is what it is. And we'll move on to the NBA and have a conversation about it because there is a pretty big matchup here tonight as far as, let me just pull it up. Give me 1 second. NBA. We are looking at the Indiana Pacers going into the San Antonio Spurs. And the San Antonio Spurs have not lost a game at home yet, Charlie.
No, they haven't.
15-0.
Yeah, and, on the opposite side is the Pacers. They've lost 4 road games in a row.
Oh.
So right now they're looking to turn that around. But that's not a good combination. You go into the losing on the road record. Spurs have a streak going at home. So, the Spurs are just tough. They're just a good, tough, very well-rounded team that the Pacers are going to have to combat. Pretty. With a lot of discipline. I think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, that'll be a tough matchup, and I think that'll be very telling of whether the Pacers can get a little bit of momentum going, whether he can cover Kawhi.
Yeah, definitely. Dream's calling me a mush right now. Shut up, kid. Last I checked that I was undefeated all weekend long, so we don't need to have that conversation at all, man. All right, so looking at this as far as they're getting 8.5 tonight from the Spurs. I think that's a lot of points, though. I think this Indiana team is better than people think.
I do too. I think right now they're going through kind of like a rough patch. I mean, they are still trying to kind of find their identity. They did switch it up this season to that up-tempo offense. But they are coming together. I mean, it's great to see so many more people getting involved too. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about Monte Ellis and how he just was kind of a non-factor out there. But now it's suddenly, it's like he heard us talking that day or something, because now he's, scoring, with his, I know against the Mavericks earlier this week, his former team, he went off for, gosh, I don't know, he's one of the high scorers of the game.
Right.
At least one of the leading scorers. So, he's really, stepping up, finding his role in the lineup. And, as our, CJ Miles has really picked it up. They have that 3-guard attack with Hill, Ellis, and Miles. So, that's been fun to watch.
Absolutely. So we'll see what ends up going down with that. I don't believe that San Antonio will get their first loss, though, at home.
I'm not betting on it. And you know what else makes this game interesting is David West, former Pacers player. He now plays for the Spurs, and he had a really good relationship with most of the Pacers players. I know Paul George says, he even said this week he misses being on the court with West. So that'll be a nice little reunion of sorts for those guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, guys, if you can manipulate this, maybe get San Antonio in a money line situation or something like that, I think San Antonio wins the game. It might be a little tighter than you expect, though. The 8.5 seems like a lot of points. This is a game where you're giving 8.5 and San Antonio win by 7. And you'd be pissed. So that's the last thing you want to do. That's the last thing you want to do. How about this? This team is kind of a little up and down here, but I think that they're going to be kind of strong in the East overall. They're obviously not going to beat my boy LeBron. That's for sure. But Portland's coming into the Atlanta Hawks tonight. And Atlanta is 17-12, 9-6 at home, giving 6 points to the Portland Trailblazers. Portland's been a little pesky, guys, I'll be honest with you. But for the most part, I think this Atlanta team will emerge tonight and get the job done. What's your thoughts on the Atlanta Hawks, Charlie?
Atlanta's always just a real gritty team.
Yep.
That's just how they are. I know they've always given, the Pacers real problems. So, I don't put anything past the Falcons. I don't think that they're, someone that, people need to be, other teams need to be super intimidated by, but they are a gritty team, and, they are just one of those teams that they fight it out till the end. Yep. So, it's always anyone's game with the Falcons. the Hawks involved. NFL on the brain.
Hey, you know what? That's fine. NFL's on my brain too. And we always say this, and what we're doing, guys, I mean, and I'm just kind of bringing Charlie in, letting her know what we've been talking about. We're all NFL right now. I mean, NFL and college football is like our bread and butter right this second. And we dabble in the NBA and the NHL, and we even like dip our toe in the water as far as college basketball. But soon as football's over, it's obviously college basketball becomes king.
Right.
For college basketball, and then once that's done, obviously we have NHL and NBA playoffs. So pretty excited about what we got moving forward, and hoping that we can make a lot of money in cash. Because I need some money. That would be
nice.
I need some money.
Anyone wants to throw me $1, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Guys, we're on Twitter right now at SBTV Nation, and also on YouTube, having a really good time with the beautiful Charlie Arnold joining us and joining the team right now. You are going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays with us.
Yes, correct. I'm very excited about it too.
So banging. So looking very much forward to it, and it's going to be fun when we have you, me, and the Dream on.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a good time because we're going to go through a bunch of different stuff. And, I think we have to do a little introduction as far as the two of us are concerned with you, and just kind of tell you a little bit about ourselves. When I think that'll be a real funny segment, guys, to be honest with you. So stay tuned for that. Let me see what else I have on the ticket as far as the NBA. I don't really have anything that is tickling my fancy. I could tell you this much, though. This Chicago Bulls team, kind of up and down a little bit, kind of trying to find themselves as far, with the new coach, trying to be more of a defensive-minded team, trying to find some offense here. Did lose a heartbreaker to the Detroit Pistons the other night in 4 overtimes. And then they ended up resting Pau Gasol and losing to the New York Knickerbockers. So now you're losing 2 games. You lost 2 games in a row. You got a home game tonight versus the pitiful Brooklyn Nets. Wow.
You know what? The Nets, I don't think there's somebody just to totally ignore. I mean, They played. I watched them play the other night. They weren't too bad.
Yeah, they were actually giving Indiana fits a lot of that game.
Yeah, they were. So, I wouldn't write them off just yet. I mean, as far as do I think that they're going to be, a playoff contender? No, maybe not. But I'm just saying, it's not somebody you want to just enter into a contest with and just think that it's going to be what's the word?
Blowout.
A breeze. Yeah, there we go.
Total annihilation, as the evil genius likes to allude to. So, total annihilation, I don't think so either. But they're giving 10 points tonight. That is a lot of points to give to Brooklyn Nets, especially the way they've been playing and kind of in some of the games here. So, I think we got to kind of keep our eye on it and see what goes on with this particular game. I would never, ever, 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 and I don't know if I said ever enough, recommend taking the Chicago Bulls minus 10 points. Guys, this team wins ugly all the time, and don't be surprised if at the end of the third quarter you see Brooklyn Nets up 2 points, and then Chicago squeaks out a win and gets the hell out of there. Don't be surprised. Charlie, my boy's at full strength here. My boy LeBron James, he's got Shumpert back, and he's got Kyrie. Kyrie was in the game yesterday. What'd you think?
Yeah, first time in 6 months.
Yes, 12 points.
12 points, 4 assists. It's good to have him back out there. I mean, obviously he was struggling a little bit. I think he missed his first 5 shots, but it was nice to see. I caught the highlight. I think it was LeBron had a steal, something, or someone had a steal, and LeBron had the ball, and he saw Kyrie down court, and he passed it to him, let him get the nice and easy layup just to get things going for himself. So I like that. I like to see, these guys have each other's backs, and, LeBron is, on board with Kyrie being back. He's not out here to steal all the spotlight for himself. He wants to share with his boy who's now back on the court. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, now let me ask you a question, because you're an NBA guru, and I've had an observation on the Cleveland Cavs. This team starts off so slow. Every game, every first half, they're either down big, down small, or tied. And I think that has to do with my boy LeBron just trying to get everybody involved. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be like driving to the hoop and then pass it out to Dellavedova or Varejao or whoever. Mm-hmm. And then in the third and fourth quarter, when they're down, he decides to, start taking the ball on his own and doing his own thing. You think I'm correct on that?
Yeah, it's something that I think LeBron also talked about some before the season started. He said, he doesn't want to carry this team. Like, he has no problem being a leader, but he does not want to carry the Cavs. And that's understandable. You want it's a team sport. You want it to be a team effort, and you don't want to feel like, everyone's slacking off and, just all of the, the responsibility rests on your shoulders. So I think he is trying to get everybody involved. And I think that's great, because LeBron has the ability to be that guy who's, a one-man team. And I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be, the responsibility doled out to each and every person on the court. But hey, when push comes to shove, if you're down and time's running out, yeah, you're going to step up. And if you need to carry the team at that point, it's worth it, because you don't want to walk away with a loss just because, you were being stubborn.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Do not bet the Cleveland Cavs in the first half. Ever. Don't do it. Don't do it, because that, you know what? I think you're 100% right on, and I'm glad we're on the same page with that. He's just trying to get everybody involved. And, a lot of people, what they do is they see these big spreads where, the Cleveland Cavs are given like 13 points. So rather than, giving all those points, what they like to do is take them in the first half. And a lot of people get blown up with that. So, guys, you know what? It's Christmas time. The last thing you need to be doing is paying your bookmaker that money by losing with my boy. Can't be doing it. So, other than that, Charlie, I think I've got...
Well, I have one more thing to add, just if someone is feeling some confidence as far as the Cavs are concerned. They do have a record 34-3 when LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love are all on the court.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. That's going to make for a hell of a game in Golden State this week, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for that one. I wonder what they're going to be getting. They're probably going to be getting like 8 points in that particular game. I have a feeling. So, all right, guys, as far as college bowls are concerned, Charlie, I don't know if you've been following college football a lot. I know you're entrenched in the NFL and the NBA, but there is one game tonight, guys, and I'm just going to kind of discuss it with you. And feel free to jump in if you want to. But, I know we didn't really go over this, and somebody on Twitter just alluded to the fact that there is a game at 2:30 today. And it's the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, who are 11-2, facing the South Florida Bulls, who are 8-4. Western Kentucky, guys, averages 44 points a game and gives up 25. I'm looking at this particular matchup, and I'll be honest with you, this is not one of my favorites. I think that the South Florida team has actually been playing better. They definitely have turned their season around. I mean, last year they were one of the worst teams in the league, as far as their division is concerned. And now, in a bowl game at 8-4, this is a really tough matchup, because I know a lot of you guys want to sit there, and I know you want to lay the points with Western Kentucky, and I wish you the best of luck, but I'm just going to warn you, be careful of the South Florida team. South Florida has had some pretty impressive games this year, where a lot of people, thought that they weren't going to do their thing. They did beat Cincinnati. They beat the brakes off of Cincinnati. They beat Temple, guys. Remember that. And they lost to Navy, but it was only by 12 points, and Navy's one of the best. So just be careful out there, guys, when you're betting against the South Florida team. I would not advise it. I don't even advise to get involved in this particular game at all. So that's pretty much it. Charlie, you got anything else to add before we close our show out?
Oh gosh, let's see. I don't think so. This is my favorite time of year right now. We're getting in the playoffs, NFL playoffs. So
I can't wait.
We're getting down. Figuring out exactly who's going to be in the playoffs. So this is a fun time of year, and of course it's Christmas week. Who doesn't love Christmas? You get to hang out with your families, eat some good food, drink some good wine.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you're a wine drinker.
Oh, I'm a red wine lover. Actually, you can see that little Santa little guy behind me?
Yeah.
That's my red wine bottle that I dressed up in a little Santa suit.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. You know what bothers me about opening wine? I hate that like metal label that can like slice your finger open, you know what I mean? So I found this little device. Actually, I was at a restaurant this weekend where it kind of it's like a circle blade.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Right off. That's dope.
Yeah, I don't own one. I just do it the old-fashioned way. I grab the little tab and I just do my best to get it all off there. But I have seen those little devices and they are nice.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe a good idea for a stocking stuffer for some of the listeners out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe we'll send you one with a SBTV logo on it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Well, guys, you know what, Charlie? Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, great energy, great show, and I'm looking forward to bringing you on the team with us and rocking and rolling and going from there, because we're going to have a lot to talk about moving forward here.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, guys. So that's pretty much going to do it for us, guys. We appreciate it. All 196 countries that have been on board with us, and we love you to death. And I want to give a special shout out to everybody that retweeted the show. I got my man, Direct Sports Solutions. I got JDH24. I got P for Prez, Vegas Jack, OJFB, Benjamin Rowe, SD Grind, my boy Christos. I got D. I got Jeff Ryan, JC, hashtag SBTV Nation. We love you, brother. What's up? Got the Dream. I got Nick Orestes. Not that I don't love all you guys. Don't think that, all right? Got my man Immaculate. I got the Danish Better. I got Randomly Unpredictable. Jules Andretti. Charlie, thank you for retweeting our show.
Of course.
I appreciate it. I got Skippy Betts all the way in Australia. I got Long Woo. I got Mario Martinez. My boy Terrence Mack. Cash Action Bets. My man Clown. Man Swag. Getting ready for Las Vegas. What's up, brother? MC Money. I got Irvin. I got Vegas Girl 92661. Sin City Maverick. Yippa 82 all the way in Australia. I've got Snoopy Betts, Marlin, and BT. What you got to say to close out of here, Charlie?
Man, I mean, gratitude to everybody who sticks around and listens to me talk for 51 minutes today. So,
all right.
I know there are plenty other things you could be doing. So, thanks for tuning in, and I'm excited to be here and to get to know some of our listeners a little more.
All right, guys, we love you to death. Go out there, go easy, do your own homework, get involved in all your own plays, make all your dreams a damn reality, and get that money. Let's go.
Get that money.